They called it savage, but they stole its art and put it in glass. They said it had no history, but they followed its roads and never reached the end. This is the story of Benin City, the Kingdom of Bronze, the City of Walls. Long before the modern nation of Nigeria existed, before colonial boots stepped into its soil, there was a forest, vast and green, that hid a marvel. This was the heart of the Benin City Kingdom. Its origins date back to around the 11th century, but by the 15th century, Benin City had become a kingdom of wealth, war, and wonder. At its center stood Benin City, a metropolis unlike any other in sub-Saharan Africa. It was not built on myth, it was built on precision, hierarchy, and vision. Benin City was famous, not for pyramids or gold, but for walls. The city and its surrounding kingdom were enclosed by what may be the largest man-made earthworks in the world. Over 16,000 kilometers of walls and moats encircled the city and its nearby villages, 4 times longer than the Great Wall of China. The earth was dug deep into defensive ditches, with the removed soil packed into raised embankments. Some walls were over 6 meters tall. European visitors in the 17th century, including Portuguese and later British explorers, described a city as clean and organized as Lisbon, with wide, straight streets, markets, and a grand royal palace at its center. They weren't just amazed, they were shocked, because they had been told Africa was wild. But Benin City was engineered. At the city's core was the Oba, the divine king of Benin City. He ruled from a palace so vast it had multiple courtyards, bronze pillars, leopard carvings, and shrines. His word was law, his body sacred, and his reign absolute. The Oba's court was a place of rituals, masks, dancers, and scholars. Priests and warriors guarded tradition. Pages recited histories by heart. The Oba did not wear a crown like a European king. He wore coral beads, heavy strands across his chest and forehead, shimmering like power made visible. No one could look him in the eye, but everyone felt his presence. What truly set Benin City apart, and still echoes through museums today, were the Benin City Bronzes. These were not just statues, they were history in metal. Cast using the lost wax technique, these plaques and sculptures recorded the faces of Obas, the battles they fought, the emissaries they met, and even Portuguese traders who arrived in the 15th century. Each bronze was more than art. It was evidence of empire, of memory, of mastery. Scholars today estimate that thousands were created, many placed in royal altars, some gifted to foreign dignitaries, others lost in time. But the ones most people know? They were stolen. In February of 1897, under the pretense of retaliation, British forces invaded Benin City. The real motive? Greed. They wanted access to palm oil, rubber, and control of West Africa's trade. They also wanted to humble the Oba, whose independence annoyed the empire. British troops looted the palace. They burned the city. They exiled the Oba. And they carried off thousands of bronze plaques and ivory tusks, shipping them to Europe. Today, they sit in museums across London, Berlin, Paris, and New York. Some are labeled gifts. Most are labeled collections. Few are labeled for what they truly are, spoils of war. The British were stunned. They had expected huts. They found architecture. They had expected chaos. They found street grids. They had expected tribal drums. They found royal historians, rituals, and urban sophistication. Their reports described the city as more advanced than any other in West Africa, though they did not hesitate to destroy it, because acknowledgement is not the same as respect. Modern Benin City in southern Nigeria still stands on the bones of the old. Some remnants of the moat system remain. You can still walk the grounds where the Oba's palace stood. The royal family still exists. The current Oba continues ceremonial leadership and cultural preservation. And the Bronzes? They're coming home, slowly. In recent years, Germany, the UK, and other countries have begun returning looted artifacts, pressured by decades of activism and evidence. But many still sit behind glass, admired by the world that once called their creators primitive. The story of Benin City is not just about what was taken, it's about what endured. A city of engineers, a kingdom of kings who ruled for centuries without European aid, a culture that turned metal into story and earth into architecture. The city of walls is no longer as high, but the memory is taller than ever. They tried to burn the city, but they could not burn the truth. Benin City was never lost. It was silenced, and now its voice rises again, through art, through ancestors, and through stories like this. Stories connect us to our past, shape our present, and guide our future. African Legends and Stories is more than just storytelling. It is a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, between tradition and modernity. Subscribe now and be part of this journey. Like, comment, and share to keep these legends alive. This is African Legends and Stories, where the past speaks and the future listens.